As soon as Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were eliminated, Alyssa Thomas, Connecticut's best player, or Connecticut's most hyped player, went to the podium and started complaining about Caitlin Clark fans.
I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base.
Alyssa Thomas was recently suspended for a vicious racist attack on Caitlin Clark, and the meltdown that ensued is just embarrassing. It appears that she couldn't handle the pressure, so instead of owning up, she chose to pull the racism card in her post-game interview, directing all the attention to Clark's fans and accusing them of racism. If you're watching this video, there's a 99% chance that you're a Caitlin Clark fan yourself, and now that makes you a racist too. Thank you for educating us.
Those guys, they're the racists, when really, y'all are the racists.
It's absurd how blind someone can be to ignore Clark's outrageous statistics and believe that her skin tone is the only reason she should have been suspended at the time. However, do you know what she said specifically that led her into this situation? Why is everyone turning against her? And is there any chance the league will forgive her? Let's get down to business.
All know what this really is. It's an attack on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's the wrong face for this league because her fans are so racist.
Due to a vicious smackdown by the Minnesota Lynx in Game 2, the Connecticut Sun were eliminated from the playoffs in the most humiliating manner possible. Alyssa seems like she's going to lose it during the post-game interview.
Acceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
Nothing. And when a reporter finally ventured to bring up her performance, it was as if a switch was thrown. Rather than confronting the obvious, her total lack of presence during the playoffs, she immediately launches into an attack, blaming Caitlin Clark supporters of racism. She didn't claim that there were only a few trolls on the internet or that she struggled with hate speech on social media. Instead, she went all out and called Clark's whole fanbase racists who are destroying the mental health of Black athletes.
We come to play basketball for our job and it's fun, but we don't want to go to work every day and have social media blown up over things like that. It's uncalled for, and something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league checking. There's no time for it anymore.
The reporter's expressions showed that she had been sitting on this side idea, waiting for the right opportunity to drop it, hoping that someone would inquire about her disastrous game so she could completely flip the conversation. No one even asked for proof or pressed her for details.
Instagram and Twitter, these are choices we make. There's an easy way. The league doesn't have to get involved. The Indiana Fever don't have to do something to get you away from social media. Put your phone down. Don't download the apps. Don't engage.
They simply let her leave, moving the focus from her playoff failure to this staged controversy rather than condemning her for her pathetic performance. Everyone was abruptly enmeshed in the fan base of Alyssa Thomas versus Caitlin Clark. It's almost amazing how fast she was able to change the narrative, transforming herself from the GOAT in the worst sense into a purported victim of racism.
Well, now they found another victim, the fans of Indiana. Now, I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots. I'm going to side a little bit with Alyssa Thomas, who said she is the latest WNBA woke gas bag to rip Indiana Fever fan over alleged racism, demanding the franchise and league do something about it. What do you want him to do?
Want him to do. But you can't help but wonder if this was a spontaneous outburst or if it was a premeditated attempt to divert all of the criticism that was coming her way. Alyssa Thomas came out swinging, saying that this season was the first time in her 11-year career that she had experienced this kind of abuse. And guess who she's blaming? The Indiana Fever's fan base, who have been riding the Caitlin Clark hype train since her incredible rookie season began.
Gives a rat's ass, seriously.
But the real question is, did she even bother to provide any evidence to support her claims? I don't know a single shred of evidence, so nope, no chance. She made a broad claim, essentially suggesting that the entire Fever fan base is trying to destroy her mental health since, evidently, Caitlin Clark's very existence in the league is so toxic. Good try. She did not provide any evidence, incidences, or even a cryptic tweet to rely on. Alyssa.
Caitlin Clark is Kunta Clark. She's the actual slave that everybody else is exploiting for their benefit. Angel Reese included at the top of that list. Now Alyssa Thomas jumps in and says, let me get my piece.
But let's talk about the timing. It's clear that DRO was desperate to change the narrative after losing a high-stakes playoff game. She knew that the media would be ready to grill her about why she failed when her team needed her the most, or why she allowed herself to be completely outplayed on the biggest stage of the season. Instead of facing the music, she pulls out the ultimate deception play, shifting the blame onto Caitlin Clark's fans and hoping that nobody remembers she ever set foot on the court that night.
You got people in a room.
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of dudes in a room and says, let's fuck up the WNBA, we couldn't have came up a master plan what these women have done.
However, this is where things become very dubious. Thomas wasn't just targeting Clark's supporters by calling out his admirers. She also subtly portrayed Clark as the cause of the issue. If Clark's influence is bringing out all of this negativity, then she is indirectly portraying Clark as the villain in this whole situation.
Janae Carrington, as we've talked about earlier this week, in Game 1, poked Caitlin Clark in the eye intentionally, in my view, and in most rational people's view. Your hands don't curl up, you jab people in the eye, and you pull your hand back immediately after you've accomplished your goal. Nothing happens to Dejanay Carrington. This isn't really even discussed. She gets questioned about it once. Caitlin Clark gets questioned about it. Caitlin Clark takes the high road. She's not engaging. Hats off to Caitlin Clark.
It's a cunning tactic to damage Clark's reputation without really bringing her name into disrepute. And let's not forget that there has previously been animosity between the two of them. Alyssa Thomas chose to place what can only be described as the hardest screen known to mankind on Caitlin Clark during a heated game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun on August 14, 2024, brewing from a previous incident that put them both at the center of controversy. No, we're not talking about your average basketball screen. Fans watching live literally gasped, thinking she had broken her ankle or something. What did the referees do? They called an offensive foul on Thomas, then dismissed it as if it were no big deal. Clark, who is known for soaring around the court like a bolt of lightning, was completely blindsided and hit the floor like a ton of bricks. No review. No egregious foul considered.
WNBA, because it's a woke league and because it's leaned into people directing their hatred of Caitlin Clark at Caitlin Clark fans.
Even some WNBA analysts, like Diane Terasai, jumped in and spoke bluntly about how badly the entire situation was handled. She stated unequivocally that Thomas should have been sent off for a play that was careless, but did Clark herself make a big deal out of it? No chance. She immediately got back up, flashed her trademark smile, and even winked at the audience as though to convey that she was okay and wasn't going to let this get to her. Caitlin's iconic move was a powerful moment that only deepened her followers' affection for her. While everyone else was going crazy over the poor officiating, she remained composed and unconcerned.
And it comes as a byproduct of, Caitlin, I love you to death. But girl, if you don't work on that defense, you ain't winning no championship.
However, that's when things started to get out of hand for Alyssa. Clark supporters were furious and made sure she felt the heat online because Shree also posted a statement saying,
Elle released the statement saying,
they fired her. They kicked her off the game because it's Caitlin Clark and she can't do that game.
And rather than taking responsibility for a play that could have easily hurt one of the league's top players, she began portraying herself as the victim, saying that the criticism was solely motivated by race and not by her almost eliminating a rookie phenom. Anyone watching could see through it, and the fans were upset because she played dirty, as that race had nothing to do with it.
He had to go to the NBA because of players calling all kinds of nasty racial names to Caitlin Clark, white bitch being the most of. I mean, that's the players. Now they sit up there, the one idiot.
However, Alyssa wasn't interested in defending herself, so she doubled down, making accusations and finger-pointing in an attempt to divert attention from the reason she was receiving criticism in the first place. For a brief moment, it appeared as though she might succeed in doing so, dragging Caitlin Clark's name into the controversy and making it appear as though Clark's racist fans were orchestrating a coordinated attack. But let's face it, it was all a smokescreen because, at its core, this whole mess began because Alyssa didn't want to take responsibility for her careless play and her awful performance. So she chose to use controversy as a shield from criticism.
Most important player, the person that's driving all of your engagement. Everybody's making money off Caitlin Clark. She gets gouged in the eye by a player who clearly hates her. We've seen the previous behavior this season. We've seen her tweets. Clearly hates her. WNBA, there's no statement being made. Hey, we got to be more careful. We got these ladies with these long fingernails. We can't have this happen. We investigated this. We don't think it's intentional. We do think it's intentional. None of that happened. It's an actual joke that it did happen. Something that the players can joke and laugh about and mock later.
Even more absurd is the fact that by taking this path, she has only made matters worse for herself. Rather than handling the fallout from a single game, she has turned it into a full-fledged scandal. She believed she could sidestep one controversy by starting another, but all she has done is dig herself deeper, and it wasn't just the fans who were raising a ruckus. Former WNBA legends Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Miller were among the many sports analysts and pundits who took to the internet to voice their opinions, calling Thomas's hit unsportsmanlike and blatantly dangerous.
Came in as the most impactful player that the WNBA was seeing as a rookie based off of what we saw in college, from both off and on the court, whether it was attendance, viewership, to her on the court with the scoring and assists. That's how she was when she was drafted. She exits her rookie season as exactly that.
On ESPN's The Jump, the panel dissected the play frame by frame while Rachel Nichols threw serious shade, saying that you don't set a screen like that unless you're trying to hurt someone or make a statement. The following day, every major sports show was all over it, with analysts on Around the Horn pardoning the interruption, and every other hot take show you can think of discussing whether Thomas should have been suspended or ejected. As if things couldn't get any more heated, Angel returned to the fray, saying, "Why not add a little more fuel to the fire?" Never one to back down from drama, Reese used social media and her own show to attack Clark's fan following and defend Thomas.
Idiot is wearing her shades thinking she's some model. This one here, it's uncalled for. Let me tell you something else. It's very simple to do. See this phone? Don't go on social media.
In the end, the controversy surrounding Thomas's fall turned into something much bigger than either she or Rays could control. What began as a dubious screen in a regular season game spiraled into a full-blown scandal that has put them both on the hot seat. By attempting to avoid one mess, they managed to create an even bigger one, and now the focus is squarely on them rather than Clark's fan base. She resurrected her own set of grievances against Clark supporters, repeating the same old accusations that Clark's fans were naturally biased and always came for black players.